So the closer
have
you
come
live
at
to
a
the
difficult
surface,
time.
the higher class you
Orzammar
are.
is ailing for want of
Unless
a
you're
king.
actually on the surface.
Grey Warden arrives in Orzammar, undoubtedly to offer assistance to Lord Harrowmont.
This has dragged on too long. It's an insult to King Endrin's memory.
News of the hour. Lord Harrowmont entrenched in the past. How long can he ignore that Orzammar must change to survive?
Warden, welcome. It is always a blessing for Orzammar to host your order. I am Vartag Gavorn, top advisor to our good Prince Balin. What news do you bring? Yes, the treaty. I've seen it in the Shaper's libraries. Now the difficulty is that the treaty only compels our king, and we are sadly lacking one of those right now. No one wishes this fight over more than Balin. But while it rages, Orzammar can spare no one to combat what may or may not be a new blight. I believe you, but what are we to do? If Balin followed his heart and sent his men to aid you, Harrowmont would steal his throne. We would defeat the Blight, and return to find our homeland devastated by an incompetent tyrant. Perhaps you could prove to Prince Balin your intentions are just. If you show you owe Harrowmont no fealty, I'm sure Balin would help you. Harrowmont has engaged in a campaign of bribery and coercion to ensure that every house serves him. But if a neutral party, a stranger, were to approach certain key members, perhaps with irrefutable evidence of Harrowmont's deception...
Irrefutable evidence? Which I suppose you have?
I'm certain my Lord Prince would show his gratitude. Harrowmont promised the same portion of his estate to two different Deshers, Lady Dace and Lord Helmy. Harrowmont can't possibly grant it to both of them, but they won't find out until after the vote is cast. I have copies of the promissory notes Harrowmont gave each of them. Once they see those, they should both reconsider their votes. That's not important. If they ask, say you found them while searching the Shaper's libraries for your treaty. Normally, the Shapers would handle this sort of accusation. They are the scholars who manage our laws, histories, and genealogies. They are the final arbiters of all disputes in Orzammar. Unfortunately, the Shaper of Memories is the most important among them, and his grandfather was Lord Harrowmont's aunt's first cousin. Obviously, we cannot expect him to offer an unbiased opinion. I guess I can't expect you surfacers to understand the importance of family in Orzammar. The Shaper is biased, and if you want Prince Balin's help, you'll have to show where your loyalties lie. Will you do it? Lady Dace doesn't leave the quarter much, but Lord Helmy's adventurous, likes to spend his time at tapsters in the Commons. Remember, don't tell them you got these papers from me. You learned of them and drew your own conclusions.
The Assembly is in session. Enter quietly if you wish to observe.
Your mind has gone to dust if you think we would pass such a writ. Half our houses would go broke without the surface trade.
The proposal is only effective until we have a king to ensure we are respected by the surfacers.
Leaving you conveniently positioned to take over all contracts. I'll see your head on a pike first.
Deshers, lords and ladies of the Assembly. I've already doubled the guard to prevent violence. Must I summon more?
Steward Bandalore, Balin's sympathizers are tying our hands with trivialities. They may as well open us to the sky.
I suggest we put the matter to a vote.
And I suggest you have a taste of my family's mace.
Enough! The Assembly is in recess until the members can regain control of their emotions. Stone-forsaken fools and dusters. I'm sorry. This is the Assembly of the Clans. Only Deshers and occasional guests of state are allowed in. Oh, Stone. You must be the Grey Warden. I completely forgot about the Gate Guard's message. Welcome to Orzammar, Warden. I hope you can forgive our unrest. The loss of our king has hit us hard. Respect for your role is great, but you won't receive a proper hearing until we have a king on the throne. Troubling, but it will still seem distant compared to the empty throne. The Assembly is blind to all else. This is their world, and it ended when Endrin died. I must admit, Warden, I am at a loss myself. It lies with Prince Balin or Lord Harrowmont, and they are slow to trust anyone in these uncertain times. I only wish there was more I could do for you.
Very well.
I heard there was a Grey Warden here. I am Dulin Forrender, second to Lord Harrowmont, King Endrin's own choice as successor. Word is spreading that the surface may suffer a blight. It is shameful we are not in a better position to help. In an ordinary time, Lord Harrowmont would be honored to meet you. Unfortunately, we've already caught more than one of Balin's spies approaching Harrowmont under a pretense of friendship. So I'm afraid I won't be able to take your word. If you want to speak to Harrowmont, you will need to prove he can trust you. If you wish to show you have no loyalty to Balin, then work against him in Harrowmont's name. Balin is hosting a proving today, supposedly to honor his father's memory. The Deshers take it very seriously, and unfortunately, Balin found some way to blackmail or intimidate House Harrowmont's best fighters into stepping down. That would be enlightening, though I hope you won't pry too deeply into things they don't wish revealed. If you wish to show your loyalty, enter the proving as his lordship's champion. With your order's reputation, I've no doubt the ancestors would favor your arm. Balin would never work with anyone who humiliated him in that way. Harrowmont would have no fear of meeting with you then. Excellent. The arena is located off the Commons. Talk to the Proving Master and tell him you're entering Lord Harrowmont's roster. The key fighters we lost were Guidon and Baisel. You can look for them in the fighters' preparation chambers behind the ring. And be sure it's before the fights begin. After the first bout, no one may change the roster. If you need to find me again, I will wait in the Tapster's Tavern off the Commons. There is no better place to hear gossip. Perhaps even word of your victory.
Who would dare take from the memories? Warden, I'm outraged. A thief in the Shaperate. What have we been reduced to? I did. He was bald, with the most garish brand across his head. Almost like he took pride in being castless. Imagine! He's probably in the slums somewhere. As if he'd find a buyer for a stolen tome in Dusttown. They couldn't know the value.
Oh, pardon me. Were you looking for a particular volume? Not that I could really help. I, don't know the libraries very well. I'm just doing some research. I was looking for something about the Orton Tig. It was lost during the last Blight, and there aren't many records left. They were a noble house once, descended from the Paragon Orton, who composed the grand epic of the Seven Brothers and the Ortonic Symphony. My mother's family believes they were descended from Kalana Orton, who was training in Orzammar when the Tig fell. I'm even named for the house, Orta. Unfortunately, any records would be buried in the Tig's ruins, somewhere in the deep roads. A Grey Warden? Mother always said that if anyone could find the Tig, it was the Wardens. I hear Prince Balin and Lord Harrowmont have both been sending out small teams these days. Yes, if you can find the Tig in any records, that could do it. That could prove I'm a noble. If you could. Maybe now that you're looking. It's almost too much to hope.
When I last walked this hall, Endrin was king and Orzammar was at peace. The memories often speak of the swiftness with which change overtakes us. But it is different to see it firsthand. I apologize, Warden. I should not burden a stranger with such thoughts. I am Zebor, the Shaper of Memories. The Shaperate guards Orzammar's knowledge. We have preserved in Lyrium all of the records of Dwarven history. The memories record all. They are how we know to which family a child owes life, how we trace lost ties. They ensure we forget nothing of our past, good or bad. Ask, and I shall do my best to answer. We were a great empire once, outnumbering even humans and elves. We traded with your Tevinter Imperium, and our land stretched as far in the deep roads as theirs did above. Kal Sharok was capital then, but we lost too many battles. We lost our golems, and we lost our territory. Now the Empire is simply ruined tunnels filled with darkspawn. The Paragon Caridon, a smith of unsurpassed genius, invented the golems. For years they were our weapon against the darkspawn. One golem is worth a dozen dwarves in battle, but Caridon's Tig is far into the deep roads. When it fell, we lost his secret to creating golems. There are books about it along these walls if you would read more. They were once our highways beneath the mountains. Now the Darkspawn claim them and few venture there, except your order, who enter the deep roads when they retire, so they can die slaughtering as many Darkspawn as possible. At the other side of the old Empire, during the last Blight, the kings of Orzammar knew they couldn't hold everything. They sealed the deep roads, abandoning everyone still trapped in far-flung settlements. It was the only way to survive. Kal Sharok is the only other city to outlast the Blight. We only rediscovered them recently, and they still haven't forgiven us. I will settle your mind if I can, Warden. All dwarves who die return to the stone as ancestors, to guide their families forever. But only one every few generations rises to Paragon. A Paragon is a dwarf whose accomplishments change Orzammar so much that the Assembly recognizes they've been born blessed. They are venerated as living ancestors and found a new noble house forever bearing their name. There is one Paragon of this generation, a woman named Branka. She was born a smith, but her inventions caught the Assembly's eye. Before she had seen 20 years, she created a smokeless coal. It could burn in a cave without vents and no one would choke from it. It earned her Paragon status. She went into the deep roads 2 years ago seeking out secrets of the ancient smiths. She never returned. Your presence here has been recorded in the memories. I wish I knew what significance it has.
Are you looking for records of the Grey Wardens? We have many.
Ah, you return, Warden. Is there more you would know from Orzammar's memories? These are Harrowmont lands promised here. But these are not the deals we approved at the Shaperate. Where did you get these? And he scripted these counterfeits? This is a serious crime. I will have the Ministry of Lands begin an investigation into the Gavorns immediately. Not entirely. There were 2 promised deals, but their terms differed significantly from what is presented here. It appears the scripter altered the dates and locations of the agreements to make them identical. The prince consulted me before his father died. He wanted to know about King Bimo, the last king to rule during a blight. I told him Bimo made many changes during his rule. The assembly was even disbanded for a 2-year period. Bimo declared that, in times of war, the warrior caste answered directly to the king, and all voting was suspended. Balin seemed quite interested. The Gavorn family is a minor one, founded when a daughter of the Ferender house married down to a warrior caste man. Her brother died, leaving her family heirless. So the assembly granted him a new family name and allowed him to adopt his daughter's children as heirs. Vartag Gavorn is on record asking the assembly to bar Harrowmont from King Endrin's sick room. He is a vocal supporter of Prince Balin. He is a kinsman, yes. If you count to the 6th degree of remove, I am related to every noble lineage still represented in Orzammar. I can even trace my descendant directly to House Sigmund, which lost its tide to the Darkspawn 13 generations ago. The Shaperate do not vote. We simply record history as it happens. I cannot speak my opinions. History can be changed with a careless word. You are an outsider, Warden, but not outside the law. I hope you will not do anything to challenge the stability of Orzammar.
Well, have you found Lady Dace and Lord Helmy? Forged? Well, naturally they're forged. There is no legal way for Harrowmont to sell the same land twice over, is there? You want to know how the game is played? I wrote the papers and left a sizable fee with the registry office to back them. But if you think figuring it out gets you off the line, you don't understand how this works. I'm asking for a show of loyalty, so exactly how much truth is involved shouldn't matter in the slightest. Now, where does your allegiance lie, Warden? If you cannot support my prince, do not expect him to serve you. If you change your mind, you know what you must do to earn his indulgence.
Very well.
Legion of the Dead Warriors secretly wear Prince Balin's colors. Our prince has Orzammar's deadliest warriors behind him.
What do you want? Ah, I suppose you're the Grey Warden everyone's talking about. It's fascinating the surface has an entire order dedicated to fighting Darkspawn. Down here, that's just what fighting means. But I'm sure it's more difficult on the surface, It must be much harder to find them. I am? And what business would you have with me? Now, was that an attempt to cozen me into revealing my choice, or are you simply making small talk? It's so hard to tell with you surface types. You're all so charmingly direct and artless. Yes, I am a member of the Assembly, a Desher. I will be one of 80 nobles of purest blood to pick our sovereign king. If you're asking me where my vote lies, I'm forbidden to tell until the stones are cast. Well, this isn't exactly a surface broadsheet. Where did you get these? Never mind. It is true enough, but there's nothing I can do about it. This deal was made on behalf of our entire house. Only my father can revoke it. He is leading a Deep Roads expedition, trying to secure an ancient Tig. It's unlikely he'll be back before the election, but perhaps this vote is important enough for you to brave the tunnels to tell him? The Dace family would be in your debt. He was searching an old Idukan site. He left me with this map, in case his expedition never returned. I'll give you a pass as well. Usually, no one is allowed past the front lines. Does that mean you'll go? So Balin's victory means enough for you to risk your life. How interesting.
News of the hour. Questions remain as to Lord Balin's involvement in King Endrin's death. Possibility of patricide scandals shocking.
It'll be 2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Branka didn't go alone, Oghren. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapster's and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha! I'll...
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman. Can you believe it? Ogren's barely even warrior caste anymore, and he just clomps in here like he's entitled. I'm Loilinar Ivo, warrior, which is more than I can say for that useless sod. Ogren's a drunken wretch. He comes up here 2-3 times a week, hounding people to lead some suicidal rescue mission after Branka. Gets quite violent about it. I'd be scared if they hadn't practically gelded him after he killed young Lord Mino. All Mino's son said was how unlikely it was that a bunch of smiths would return safely from the deep roads. Which is true. Ancestors preserve us. That's what the warrior caste is for. But Oghren claimed it was an insult to a paragon. Next thing, they're in a duel to first blood to defend Branka's honor, then Oghren starts screaming and runs him through. It was a huge scandal. Oghren should have been executed, but he'd won honors in the deep roads. Instead, they stripped him of all weapons and forbid him from engaging in fights within city limits. If he breaks the decree, he'll be exiled. She's still his wife, isn't she? Even if she took their entire house into the deep roads and abandoned him. It's been 2 years since Branka left. No one has ever stayed in the deep roads that long and survived. The search teams who went out found nothing, but Oghren wants to keep risking lives searching. Chasing some old treasure. She was quite secretive. Outright rude, really. She said she never asked to found a house, that she didn't care about politics, and that we were too self-absorbed to defeat the Darkspawn. She actually threatened anyone who said they'd come after her. She invented a smokeless fuel that let the smith caste increase their output by nearly a third. Deaths from the Black Lung also dropped. The Assembly said she had the favor of the ancestors and declared her a paragon. They moved Bronca, Oghren, and all their relatives to the noble caste and founded a new house in her name. If you see any guardsmen, tell them Oghren was at it again.
So, I've been hearing rumors that a certain wine merchant is falling behind on his payments.
I can't imagine what you mean. I pay my expenses.
What about the expenses your good friend Jarvia incurs when providing your protection? It's not easy ensuring nothing bad happens, that no one decides to just burn everything in your store.
My store! Please, I don't have much. Business isn't good. People are scared. Tell Jarvia I'll get her money.
Jarvia is not happy with your promises, old man. Now let's go inside and see what you've been holding back.
This is all I have right now. I could get more if I sell something.
Well, well. Looks like we have a visitor. Friend of yours?
Is there a problem here, friend? Are these men threatening you?
Please, don't get involved with this. You don't know what they're like.
Then allow me to make some introductions. These are dangerous times in Orzammar, stranger. Lucky us, the merciful Jarvia is offering protection from the chaos. You're wearing some fancy stuff there. Might make you a target. So if you want the Carta's guarantee of safety, it's yours for the reasonable price of 10 gold sovereigns. Or I can't say what might happen. You really should learn more about the places you visit. The Carta is the foundation of business in Orzammar. It's a commercial venture of like-minded individuals who make money in whatever way suits their talents. You say protection racket, I say honorable business. You say thief, I say dead human. Whoa, whoa! All right, you win. I'm not gonna die for 10 lousy sovereigns.
Ancestors, bless you for saving my poor store. I don't know how to express my gratitude. I've never met her, of course. They say she never leaves Dusttown. That's the older area of the city where the casteless congregate. She's the one directing this depravity. Since good King Endrin died, they're getting bolder. They used to be a problem only in Dusttown, but now they're in the commons, shaking honest men down for coin. A band of casteless thugs. They're to blame for all the crime in Orzammar these days. They're criminals, and the children of criminals. The ancestors themselves declared them irredeemable. These casteless, they're all the same. Beggars, thugs, and murderers, everyone. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm grateful for your help, but I don't think we have any more to talk about. Did you have something more pleasant you wish to discuss? I'm showing you the lowest prices I can afford, I assure you.
Ancestors, guard my son, for he is lost in darkness. Mothers, keep him safe, for you know what it is to mourn. I'm sorry. Did you have an offering for the ancestors? Although, I can't imagine your ancestors reside in the stone. I don't know that word. This is a section of stone kept bare to receive our prayers. The stone gave rise to our people, and it is where their spirits return in death. My name is Vilda, widow of Turok of the Smith caste. I pray here every day for my son, Rak. I only wish I knew whether I should be asking for his safe return or for the ancestors to accept his soul. It was 5 years ago. He was only a youngster. He joined a Deep Roads excursion, the only smith to go with the warriors to repair their arms. He was so proud, but he got separated somehow. When they came home, he wasn't with them. The captains don't want to lose anyone searching for stray men. Too many were taken by Dark Spawn that way. How? There is no way except to brave the deep roads yourself. A warden. So you could do it. Only wardens face the deep roads without a company packing them. Oh, thank you. The ancestors finally heed my prayers.
Take heart, good Widow Filda. We'll do our best.
Please, find me as soon as you return.
Welcome to Janar Family Armorers. I must say, you look like our type of people. Looking for a new set of mail? At Janar's, we have everything from leather to platinum. Aye, for 100 generations. My father made his name by inventing a fall and tacet, which were integrated into the cuirass. But, I'm guessing by your face, you're not a smith yourself. That she was. The best to walk these tunnels since Caradon himself. Threw it away, chasing old dreams, though. Didn't last 6 months as a noble before she set into the deep roads looking for ancient secrets. Now she's dead in the tunnels. All that brilliance, wasted. The best smith who ever lived, bar none. He gave us the secret of forging golems that could walk, talk, and defend our borders. When we had them, no dwarf had to risk himself against the Darkspawn. It was a golden age for the Smith caste. His work was lost centuries ago when his tide fell to the Darkspawn. No one even knows where it is anymore. I stay out of politics. It's not good for a smith to get the attention of those who grant vendors licenses. Lord Harriman's a fair man. My father did business with him, and he always paid on time. But the Idukans have served us well. If it is the ancestors' wisdom to keep them on the throne, I cannot object. Has she been bothering you? Gets a whiff of surface stink, and she's like a cave tick. Won't let go. Do you even know what that means? If Dagna goes to the surface, she forfeits her caste. She'll never be able to marry or work in Orzammar again. Dwarves don't do magic. Dagna knows that. It's just a childhood fantasy that dies hard. Please, if you see her, send her back and let me talk some sense into her. Please, don't encourage Dagna further. Tell her you were wrong and that her place is with her family. Of course, keep in mind we also take items on trade.
You're back? But it takes 2 weeks and 4 days minimum to make the journey to the Circle Tower.
I don't even know that. That's quite impressive.
And just a little disturbing. Why do I get the feeling charting routes to the Circle Tower is one of her favorite hobbies?
I'm guessing you haven't left yet. You talked to him? Of course he won't let me go. He wants to sell me off for the highest dowry. I don't care if I lose my caste. I'll stay on the surface forever. Here in Orzammar, we're surrounded by stone and tradition and more stone. Nothing ever changes. But to break every natural law by thinking about it, to dream and walk in a realm where everything you think comes true, I can't imagine anything more wonderful. I'll be waiting.
Maker's blessing on you, sister. I'm Brother Burkel of the Red Cliff Chantry, returned to my ancestors' land to spread the chant of light. I'm petitioning to open a chantry in Orzammar. There is resistance. It's obvious the world wasn't created by the mortal souls who dwelt within it. Yet the dwarves of Orzammar persist in worshipping their own forefathers. The Shaperate controls changes in Orzammar's structure and society. I need the Shaper of Memory's permission to open a prayer meeting. Oh, I'd hoped you'd say that. I can see the Maker's hand on your shoulder, guiding you always.
If this chantry could help just one person as much as it helped me, it's worth any trouble.
Please, let me know as soon as you've heard anything.